In this video, we'll be talking about your Unit 6 session. So what we're going to be talking about is surface area, and the first thing we need to know is, well, how do we find surface area? Surface area is pretty simple once you know the steps of it and you do a few problems. So the first step we need to do is find the area of each surface. Okay, so our first step is finding the area of each surface. And then once we know the area of each surface, the last thing we need to do is just add them all together. So find the area of each surface, add them all together. So the first thing you kind of want to look at is just kind of look at your figure and kind of see how many figures or how many sides are there. So if I'm looking at this cube, I can see 3 sides immediately. However, remember this is a 3D shape, so we need to think about the other sides that we can't see. Think about a dice. How many sides does a dice have? A dice is a cube, right? And if I think about it, there's another invisible side back here on this side. There's another invisible side I can't see back here on this side. And then there's also the base on the bottom. Okay. Another way that you can think about surface area is think about nets. So a net is a flat shape, and if I were to fold this along those creases and connect it, this is going to make that cube. So I can see here there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sides, which is the same answer we got looking at this cube, but sometimes nets are a little bit easier to help you visualize what's happening with these figures at first. So for this cube, there are going to be 6 different faces. Okay, there's 6 different surfaces or 6 different faces. I have my 1, 2, 3, the 4th one behind here, the 5th one behind here, and then the 6th one is going to be my base. We could also see shapes like this. So this is a triangular prism. Again, I can see 1, 2, 3 faces right off the bat. Remember that there's also going to be another side here. Think about like a tissue box or just a normal box. I'm going to have a side back here. This is going to be my 4th. I have a side back here along this side. It's my 5th. And then I also have this side underneath here, which are my base, which is going to be 6. So again, there's 6 total sides on this shape here as well. And you can also do a net with this one. However, instead of all of them being squares, we're going to have rectangles because this is a box, right? This is a rectangle, 5 and 6 are also going to be rectangles. So again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different faces. And the reason why we want to know how many faces there are is because, again, with surface area, we are taking each different surface, finding the area of each one, and then adding them all together. Okay, so surface area is how much space each side of my box is going to take up. So let's start on a problem. Here I have a cube, and I know it's a cube because all 3 side lengths that I'm given are all 8 centimeters. Okay, so it's a cube. Remember that with cubes there are 6 sides. So I'm going to find the surface area of this cube. Let's start with this front area here. Okay, I know that this area is going to be length times width. So that is going to be 8 times 8, which is going to be 64. So the area of one of my surfaces is 64. Now I need to figure out the area of the other surfaces on my figure. Well, since this is a cube, this side over here is also going to be 8 times 8. This top part is going to be 8 times 8. Essentially with cubes, it's a bit easier because each surface is going to have the exact same area. So since I know that there are 6 different faces, okay, there's 6 different sides of my cube, all I need to do is take my area and multiply it by 6. Okay, so I'm going to take 64 and multiply it by 6. And again, you can type this into a calculator. And when I do that, I get 384. So 384. That is the surface area of this cube. So 384 centimeters squared. When we have to find the surface area of a rectangular prism or a box, it's a little bit different because all of our sides aren't the same. However, it's still going to be the same process. When you have a box, a nice way to think about it is that you're going to have two of the same sides for each different face. Okay? Think about like if you have a top and a bottom of the box, the top and the bottom are going to be the same size, and then the two corners are going to be the same sides, and then the front and the back are also going to be the same side. So let's do this front one right here first. Okay, I know that my bottom is 3 centimeters, and my height here, this height back here, is 6, which means that this height is going to be 6. So I'm going to have 3 times 6. That's going to give me 18. All right, now let's look at the base, which is the bottom. Okay, so for my base, I have 3, which is this side, and then I have 2, which is going to be this side here. So I have 3 times 2. That's going to give me 6. Then let's look at the last side that we have here. Okay, this is going to be like the side of the box. This side is 6, and this bottom side here is also 2. So I have 6 times 2, and that is going to give me 12. Remember that with boxes, you have 2 of the same side for each surface, which means I'm going to have 2 reds, I'm going to have 2 greens, and I'm going to have 2 blues. Since they're all going to have the same surface, all I need to do is take each of these numbers and multiply them by 2. And the reason why is because if I were to look at the base here on this image, here's my base, right? If I look at the top, which would be the opposite of it, this is still going to be 3 and this is still going to be 2. So I'm multiplying the same numbers. And it's going to be like that for every single figure on your surface area. When you're solving these problems, I would recommend trying to trace them as best as you can or redraw them on a piece of paper, and maybe using a few different colors like I did here to keep all of your different sides straight, because it can get a bit confusing when you're like, did I multiply those two? Do I still need to? So I would recommend writing this down or drawing it somehow where you have different colors and you can color coordinate it if that helps you. Okay. So let's multiply all these. 18 times 2 is going to give me 36. 6 times 12 is going to give me, 6 times 2 will give me 12. 12 times 2 is going to be 24. So now I know all of the area of all my surfaces. The last step is to add them together. 36 plus 12 plus 24. So 36 plus 12 plus 24. And that is going to give me 72. So surface area here is going to be 72 centimeters squared. So 72 centimeters squared. Alright, the last shape that you could see, and we'll see some of these in the workbooks and in the checkpoint, not the checkpoint, but I know the workbooks have at least one like this. So we're going to find the surface area of this triangular prism here. And this one is a little bit different. And let's start by looking at the surfaces. Okay, how many surfaces do I have? Well, I see I have a triangle here, so that's 1. I have a triangle back here, that's 2. I have this back rectangle. Do you guys see this back rectangle? That's 3. And then I have my base, which is going to be 4. And then I have this front surface here, which is this big one up here, and that's 5. So here I have 5. Okay, I have 5 different surfaces. Let's start with finding the triangle. And again, I have 2 triangles. Both of these are going to have the exact same surface area. So I have 8 times 3, 1/2, base times height. So this is going to be 1/2, 3 times 8. 3 times 8 is going to give me 24, and 1/2 times 24 is going to give me 12. So since I have 2 triangles, I'm going to multiply 12 times 2 because of those 2 triangles, and I'm going to get 24. Okay, so the area of my triangles is going to be 24. Okay, so the next one that we want to do is the area of this rectangle here. So I know that my base for my rectangle is 12, but I don't know what my height is. My height is not 3. 3 is this height right here, so it is not 3. Be very careful. However, these lines here tell me that that is congruent, meaning that if this side is 8 centimeters, so is this side, and so is this side. Okay, so the area for my rectangle, or my base times height, is going to be 8 times 12. Oops, not 18. 8 times 12, and that is going to give me 96. Now there are 3 rectangles here, right? I have the front one, I have the back one back there, and then I have the base. So I have 3 rectangles, which means I'm going to take the area of my rectangle and multiply it by 3. So 96 times 3, that gives me 288. The last step is going to be taking our area of our rectangles and adding it to the area of our triangles, which is 24. So 288 plus 24. And let's see, so that was going to give me 502, I think. Let's double check in our calculator because I did that in my head. So 288 plus 24. Oh, I see what I did there. 312. My brain accidentally inserted a 0 and added the 2's together instead of the 8. So this is why you want to double check in a calculator, because that would have been a very wrong answer just because I try to do math in my head. So 312 centimeters squared would be our surface area here. So again, the main thing with surface area is figure out how many surfaces you have, and then from there just take it step by step. Find the area of the triangle. Say, do I have any other triangles? I have one other, so there's 2 total. Multiply it by 2. Next, find the area of a rectangle. How many other rectangles do I have on this figure? Well, I have 2 or 3 others, so multiply that area by 2. And then the last step, remember to always add your areas together. Alright, the quiz code this time is going to be thankful. It is going to be all lowercase like this. So thankful, all lowercase.